I'm doing this with the new star of the show, my beautiful daughter Lola Davies. Say hi, Lols.
Hello.
Gen X can be the hardest age group to understand and nail down, even for the most savvy marketeers. It feels like basically Gen X are a bit boring.
Yeah.
You know, which I'm not going to say anything else on because I don't want to get in trouble. They treat each purchase as a commitment, which means they're far more willing to read the fine print and thoroughly understand all the nitty-gritty details before they make a purchase.
I think that's quite all right. I think old people, well, that generation of people, that generation of people quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm referred to as an old person, so...
Not really.
Baby boomers definitely are. They live their lives hoping just to have enough to survive.
I guess in the war, maybe.
Do you think that sounds like Mum, Dad?
No, it's like the opposite.
It's the opposite. Can I give my opinion on Gen Z?
Go on then.
Oh God, this is going to sound so horrible. Hey guys, and welcome to Marketing in the Madness. Now, I am going to uncover some marketing myths. I don't know if they are marketing myths. They're not marketing myths. I'm going to uncover today about the marketing generations and hopefully going to have a bit of fun because I'm doing this with the new star of the show, my beautiful daughter Lola Davies. Say hi, Lols.
Hello.
So we've been discussing the different generations and I always get a bit lost in terms of the exact dates. So today you're going to learn the exact dates for all the different generations. You'll be able to place yourself, but you'll also be able to place your audience and hopefully also get some insights into how to best market to that audience. Now, because I definitely don't know these off by heart, I am going to have to use my trusty iPhone. So excuse me whilst I look down at my phone. I promise not to get distracted and go on Instagram. And yeah, we're going to have a fun conversation about some of the different generations. We're going to try and pick out people that we know in our family, maybe, and see if we think it's like them or like us. And see if we think they're real. Okay, first one. I don't think we know anyone in this one, but
The oldest or?
I'm going oldest to youngest.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one, I didn't even know this one existed. I've heard about the ones after. Now they're all dead. Yes. The lost generation.
They are all lost, so.
That's why. So the term lost generation, oh, hang on, let me tell you the dates first. I'm already getting it wrong. 1890 to 1915. So it says here, the term lost generation came from a statement, all of you young people who served in the war, you are all a lost generation. So a lot of these people would have served in the war.
Yeah.
Gertrude Stein, A Movable Feast, the lost generation was the first generation to be labelled in history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
Oh,
so there we go. I mean, there's not going to be loads of people around from this generation unless they're 100 and...
110 or something.
Yeah, but...
Probably like...
We won't dig that into that one too deep. Sorry, guys.
Sorry if you're 105, 110.
We do care about them, but there's probably a very small amount of them that we're going to need to market to.
Yeah.
But we do love them. Oh, God, this is coming out so wrong already. Okay, the next one. Ooh, this is confusing. So within that is the lost generation, but another one. Anyway, I'm just going with it. Interbellum gen. The interbellum gen is from 1901 to 1913. This generation is in the lost generation, but is specified to have a different name because people who were born in those ages were too young to serve and fight in World War I. They were also too old to fight for World War II, so they were given their own generation.
Oh, so what? They just didn't go to war?
No, they didn't have to. So I guess their experience would be very different, hence...
Lucky them.
Yeah, they've been given their very own little generation because they would have been needed to be marketed to slightly different. So yeah, but still too old for us to talk too much about. Sorry, guys. The greatest gen, now this would have been my nana, is 1910 to 1924. And the greatest gen grew up and most likely fought in World War II. They fought in the Civil War for their rights. Women and men all combined their powers to make their country a great one to live in. Well, it's pretty amazing if you think about
that's like 100 years ago.
Yeah, what they would have gone through. So my nan, oh gosh, what were the kind of I mean, she was hardy. She was a very, well, probably inspirational woman in her own right. She really, I guess she really did well in her career. She worked, she had such a strong work ethic. She would be always telling me off if I wasn't working hard enough. But she had a career. She worked at Santander. She used to say things like, I'm trying to think of some of the little sayings that she used to say. So, waste not, want not. You know, if you grew up in those times.
What was the other one you used to tell me? Children should be seen but not heard.
Yes. I mean, I'm not sure I love that one, but she used to say that to me a lot. At the dinner table, Katie, be quiet, you know, don't put your...
And you used to say it to me.
I used to say to you, children should be seen, not heard. Yeah. I mean, when I was trying to get you to be quiet. See, this is what that fantastic generation gave us, the greatest gen. I would say they are the greatest gen. Yeah. They will have had, well, it's been compared to recently, hasn't it, with COVID? I don't think we can quite compare on the same level. But the things that they went through, having to go to war, hiding in bunkers, like my nan used to tell me these stories. Like that is going to change personalities or views on the world and the struggles that they went through. I think, you know, they were very hardy characters, very strong people, very collaborative, very loving, very caring, and yeah, we're all there for each other. So I like that generation. It's a really interesting one. And of course, I love my nan. I sadly didn't get to meet any of my other grandparents because they all died before I passed away, because my dad's quite a bit older than me. Obviously, because he's my dad. But he's also quite a bit older than my mum. So I don't know why you guys all care about this, but you're going to know anyway now.
Family tree.
Our family tree. So my dad is 16 years older than my mum, and was he 88 last week?
Wasn't he 87?
He was either 87 or 88. He's born in 1936.
He's 87.
He's born in 1936.
87.
He's 87. He's 87. I'm just aging him. He will not like this. Still, you know, pretty, I mean, he definitely is still a very vibrant, energetic man at the age he is today. But anyway, the weird part of the story, or not weird, but the unique part of the story is that I have brothers and sisters or half brothers and sisters in their 60s. And then me and my brother, who I used to be able to say until last year, are both in our 30s, but I'm 40 now, so I can't say that anymore. But yeah, so my dad, I think...
What generation is
he? Going to be this next one, I reckon, because so he will be. So the greatest gen was 1910 to 1924. The next generation is the silent generation. Definitely not my dad.
Yeah, definitely not.
But he is in this generation. The from 1925 to 1945. This generation is silent because they would not speak out against the government. Oh. They seemed not to want to make a change or difference in the world. In contrast, they lived their lives hoping just to have enough to survive.
I guess in the war, maybe.
Do you think that sounds like Mum, Dad?
No, like the opposite.
He is the opposite. He is the... Oh, and also, my dad doesn't like to be called Granddad. Or not doesn't like, he just never has been, because his first child to have a child, so his first grandchild was born to my eldest sister. He's decided all of his grandchildren, of which he has...
What is it, like?
8?
Yeah. 7 or 8, I think.
7 or 8. Mum, Dad. So if I say, talk about Mum, Dad is my dad. But Lola calls him Mum, Dad because he doesn't get called Granddad. Because he definitely does like to speak out about stuff. But interesting that, and maybe that will have changed over time, but that his generation was named the silent generation because they didn't want to speak out.
Wow.
Something obviously happened to my dad because he definitely isn't like that.
Yeah.
But that's a really good point to make, is that, you know, obviously we're generalising in these generations, the marketing generations and how you market to them. But of course, there's always going to be anomalies. Yeah. So next up, we have baby boomers, which you hadn't heard of before.
No.
But we've actually just been discussing with our fantastic technician how there was this thing like Hey Boomers on TikTok.
Yeah.
And we'll maybe dig into a little bit why that was a thing. So baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. This generation grew up in a time where the economy was prosperous and it boomed, hence they're called baby boomers. I didn't actually know that was why, so I've just learned something. Birth rates were at an all-time high and there were no more world wars. So the world was at peace, which I guess will have affected them quite deeply. Now, for most of us, I always just think about them being the kind of tech laggards. Like they're not, if I think about my mum. So you've got a few people in our family who are baby boomers. So Nana, Gani, both your granddads.
Yeah.
And is that everyone?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 1946 to 1964. I'm trying to think if any of my brothers and sisters are. But anyway, so traditionally we think they're not as tech savvy. They're not necessarily adopting all of the...
I think your brothers and sisters are.
Yes, they are. Yes, so they're probably in the next one. We'll pick them out in the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially they are not quite as tech savvy. However, they've
adapted to it now quite well.
Are starting to adapt to it. So what do you think about them? Would you say, because you've probably got a differing view, they're all a bit like, my dad's very good on Facebook, although he's in the previous generation, so we'll pretend.
Yeah.
But my mum's really good on her phone, but she doesn't really adopt social platforms.
Yeah.
Your other granny is really good on Instagram and stuff,
really.
isn't she?
Yeah. It's weird to say she's got an Instagram, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good on that. And then my granddad, I think he's quite good. Just like...
Not as present on stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the marketing insights on them are, here goes. Unlike millennials, we haven't talked about them yet, so this is a bit backward, but just bear with me, guys. Baby boomers are far more hesitant to buy things on a whim.
On a whim?
Yeah. So I'm a millennial, so I will just buy things quickly, be advertised
it
on Instagram. Yeah. So on a whim means I'll buy it quickly. They treat
that is definitely like you.
I definitely buy things on a whim. They treat each purchase as a commitment, which means they're far more willing to read the fine print and thoroughly understand all the nitty gritty details before they make a purchase.
I think that's quite right. I think old people, that generation of people that generation of people are quite like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm referred to as an old person, so
not really.
Baby boomers definitely are. Right, next one. I don't know whether do you know what year Nana and Gani were born? Because they were born
1951.
Yeah, okay. So Generation X. This is my older brothers and sisters.
It's my dad.
And your dad?
Yeah.
Yes, interesting. Okay. Generation X. Generation X is dates. Keep forgetting to do that bit. 1965. Yeah, no one knows who I'm talking about. Generation X is 1965 to 1979. They are known to have the highest rate and the highest level of education.
Oh.
Apparently. This generation grew up in a world of wars and historical events.
Didn't know there was any wars happening then.
I know, I get not world wars.
Oh, maybe just...
I'm going to just see what good old Google says. So tell us, what do you think about that generation? I mean, your dad. Let's talk about that. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about your dad. But people of his age and my older brothers and sisters, your aunties and uncles.
Don't really know. They're all quite different, to be honest. A lot of people I know from that generation.
Anything that you can pick out about them?
I think they've developed a lot quicker than the last generation, like technology and all that stuff.
Because they wouldn't have had, I am Googling stuff at the same time as listening to you, I promise. I'm very good at doing
that. They wouldn't have had technology really at my age.
Not at school. I don't even know if they would have had
computers.
Tech and I used to have IT or I can't remember, computer lessons. I don't even know if they would have even had that.
Maybe it was just coming in or not yet.
Yeah. Well, do we want to know what the world says about them in the world of marketing? They say, Google says, in fact, this is one of my clients. Oh, I love this. Big commerce. Shout out to Big Commerce. Gen X can be the hardest age group to understand and nail down, even for the most savvy marketeers. You essentially have two types of Gen Xers: those who are born earlier in the generation, who have some of the characteristics of baby boomers, who we just spoke about, and then younger Gen Xers, who have some of the millennial type buying habits. Interesting. So should we move on to millennials? It feels like basically Gen X are a bit boring.
Yeah.
You know, which I'm not going to say anything else on because I don't want to get in trouble. Nothing.
Yeah, you keep your mouth shut.
I will keep my mouth shut. Okay, so within that, so that's why they've done this. Okay, this is very confusing, guys. Sorry. There's another one called Xennials.
Oh.
From 1975 to 1985, which I would be and your dad would be.
No, my dad's 1974.
Oh, yeah. Okay, which would be me, an Xennial. This generation is known to have more traditional relationships. These relationships are the kind to exist before social media and dating apps. Okay, so so we didn't, like, there weren't really dating apps when I was younger, for instance. I'm quite towards... I'm at the younger end of that because it finishes in 85 and I'm 82, maybe. But so we did have but it was more like, I don't know, dating apps. So we had more traditional relationships, I think, because dating apps weren't around. But I did have friends who did internet dating. I can't remember what their things were. But yeah, anyway, so that's a kind of midway to the next one, which of course I'm excited about because it's millennials. Now, they've done a thing here where they've said Gen Y and millennials mixed together.
What's Gen Y?
Maybe some people refer to millennials as Gen Y. I think that's why. So there we go. I'm still learning, guys. This generation was born between 1980 and 1994, which puts me as one.
Quite an old one.
Oh, hi. And this generation is being more independent with their opinions and choices. Global warming became a real issue for us. It did during the adulthood of this generation, and they are more likely to be cautious of energy conservation and saving the earth. I would say I care about stuff like that.
I would say you do care, but then I feel like you don't really do anything. No offense, because you do online shop a lot.
Yes. So there's definitely things that I could do better, but I don't leave all the lights on. Someone else does that. You're supposed to be even more conscious of it. It'd be interesting to see what it says about you. What else would you say? So we were talking earlier, obviously it wasn't necessarily there right at the beginning. So I didn't get a mobile phone till I was 16 and it was a brick and it had to sit in a docking station and be turned off overnight to charge. And we used to have pagers to get hold of our friends. I guess the thing that is really different maybe for a lot of this generation, because mobile phones didn't really get to the standard they are today or anywhere near today, probably until after you were born.
10 years ago.
So we didn't really grow up with technology in the way it is today, but we've adopted it really quickly. We had to do things like if you were going to meet someone, you had to be there at that place and at that time. You couldn't be late. You couldn't be. So there's definitely
cancel.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that will be different. But I'm just gonna see how to market to Google. Tell me how to market to a millennial. How to market to millennials. That's me. I want to see what it says. Okay, so
this would be quite a lot of people then, won't it?
Yeah, how to do marketing for millennials. Millennials respond best to authentic content, heavy marketing, and influencers. So we want to be marketed to by people that we trust, that we know. I would definitely say that's true. Mobile and online advertising will be key for marketers who want to capture the attention of millennials. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably most audiences. But interesting, would you think, yes, 100%. I am, as you know, fairly addicted to Instagram. Really need to up my TikTok game. You're going to help me with that. But yeah, in terms of how we engage, I would say social platforms are major and kind of influence most of the things I buy. It's because I've seen someone on Instagram. I do not use Facebook at all anymore.
Yeah.
I do look at my email offers, but yeah, I would say for me, Instagram is 100% the platform for me. You,
No,
I'm jumping ahead.
3,
Yeah,
I'd say.
go on. We'll talk about you in a minute. Right, so millennials, basically, on here, it also says prioritise mobile first marketing. I agree with that. Remember that brand values matter because we care about saving the planet. True. But values matter. We do. We care. Prioritise experiences over entertainment. Be authentic. Use visuals. Maintain a blog. We do still like to read. I do read a lot online, I would say. I definitely concur with most of these. And make inbound more informative. I talk about that a lot. Make sure there's a value exchange. It's got to be funny or informative or helpful in some way. So I would definitely agree with all of that. Right. Back to the next generation, which you are in, Gen Z. You don't want to be Gen Z, do you?
No, I just don't know really.
Well, let's explore why. So Gen Z, 1995 to 2012, this generation is less likely to attend church.
That's true.
Random statement. And have a strong relationship. They're less likely to attend church and have a strong relationship with God.
Yeah.
You don't like God?
No, I don't. No, I'm just not religious. So.
No, true. You were christened. Maybe that was a mistake, me doing that. I mainly did it, let's just be honest, to get you into the primary school, which we never got into anyway. So, c'est la vie. They are more likely to rely on themselves. They do not like to be under control by the government or any other authority figures. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I guess. Don't really want to be told by someone what to do.
Can I give my opinion on Gen Z?
Go on then.
And I'm not saying, again, everyone's like this. And I feel like our lovely technician might be a Gen Zer. Yep, she's giving me a thumbs up. Don't take offence to what I'm about to say.
You're probably going to say stuff about me because this is...
Yeah. No, but what I think, and I do think there's some really good things that come out of this. And I also think because of COVID lockdown, it's probably made us all a little bit more like this. But there is one little thing about Gen Z that, oh God, this is going to sound so horrible. I don't want to say the word lazy, but I can't think of another one. But maybe a little bit more entitled than other generations.
So you say I'm lazy?
Well, just things like, I don't think you're lazy at all. But I do think that you're in between Gen Z and Alpha. You're on the cusp, aren't you? So you are probably going to have a bit of both Gen Z and Alpha. But for me, and there are loads of really funny things on TikTok and Instagram about this, but you know, that I don't know, it's kind of like that, don't need to work or don't have to, like, just the expectations of Gen Zers, like not earning. I don't know, maybe this is because I'm a millennial. I feel differently. Like I feel like we work really, really hard and we've earned our place. Whereas some Gen Zers feel like they don't, they demand a lot without having earned it. Like I want flexible, and I believe in flexible working, as you know.
Well, I feel like you kind of say that about any generation.
You could do. There'll be lots, but on the whole, that generation I think has more, which is good because they're prioritizing themselves. They care about themselves. They care about themselves maybe more than other generations do.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you think about that generation?
Not really. Don't really.
You've got to think of something because you need to give me time whilst I find the next. So let's put.
I think everyone's just really nice.
Oh, you love all the generations, or
no,
just
especially
just
mine.
Gen Z.
Just Gen Z.
Okay, so Gen Z are amazing because you're a Gen Z.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, let's have a look. I'm just going to see. So marketing to Gen Z. Marketing Gen Z is unlike marketing to any other generation. Special. They represent a new frontier in brand consumer relationships. It is really important, actually. Sorry, I keep talking over. One where authenticity and relevance reign supreme. Yes, definitely agree with that. Gen Zers born in the late 1990s to early 2000s are both highly connected and socially conscious. I would say 100% that is true. And there are lots of brands out there that are struggling to understand them and connect with them on platforms like TikTok, because
I think a lot of, like millennials like you stick to Facebook, Instagram. I'm not saying you have do Facebook, but I think a lot of them do, and don't really, market to people on TikTok as much, because I guess I don't do marketing, so that's why I don't get it. But I think they need to make it more on TikTok.
They do, because I actually listened to a really interesting talk at a Beamer event last year, and it was the CEO of First Direct Bank, and he was like, if we don't start to understand Gen Z and the audience of our future, we won't exist as a bank, because all of our customers, let's just put it really bluntly, I'm not sure he quite said this, but I think maybe he did, are going to be dead. And we're not, if HSBC, First Direct, those banks, any of those kind of traditional banks are not engaging with this younger audience, they're not going to have any customers, because you will be being marketed to by the fintech brands like Revolut and the I guess up and coming not financial services, fintech companies that are a bit more modern and connect with you a bit better, right?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you want out of brands as a Gen Zer?
Exciting, just interesting.
Yeah, fun.
I don't know, yeah. Just something, not too boring, like, I don't know.
Do you care about cultural issues? I feel like there's two ends. I feel like you don't care as much as maybe our lovely technician, mystery technician over here does. I don't think you, at this stage, I don't think the younger Gen Zers care as much, maybe, about the environment and stuff. No offence.
I'd say a lot of teenagers kind of don't, yeah.
But maybe you will in a few years.
I think I do. I think it is, when I see people just like throw, like, this is like basic, but just like litter on the floor, I'm a bit like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people don't care at my age, to
I
be
think
honest.
when I was younger, loads of people threw litter on the floor.
But I think that is kind of teenagers.
Yeah.
I think that is just teenagers.
Yeah, it's changing.
But yeah, hopefully it's changing.
So there's one generation left who are very young and probably aren't being marketed to quite yet, Gen Alpha. So they're not even in that one that I was looking at. So Gen Alpha years, let's have a look, age range. So Gen Alpha are from 2010 and will continue to be until 2025. Some researchers consider different ages, apparently. That's not what I really care about. Gen Alpha, let's put marketing. Let's do our last generation. How do we market to Gen Alpha? So to effectively market to Gen Alpha, brands need to consider their parents' values, yes, because they're still kids, set and stick to their own values, and invest in experiential marketing, targeting them through social media and video, and building and engaging online communities will be incredibly important. I would say that's pretty obvious, but also pretty true. So there we go. That is all of the generations. I hope that you've learned something from our little podcast session today. And if nothing else, found it fun and maybe a little bit informative. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it has demystified at least maybe the age ranges, if nothing else. And I hope to see you back here and for you to be listening again to another Marketing in the Madness podcast again soon. Mic drop.